You will be fascinated that the making of this souvenir purse is so simple. Let's get to it. So I have a material here, a faux leather material. I measured 15 inches. Can you see? 15 inches by 9 inches. 15 inches by 9 inches, and cut it out in a rectangular shape. Fold it into two. I folded it into two and cut a curve by the side. Can you see? So simple. Cut a curve by the side. Made a notch at the center. I made a notch at the center, then turn it to the other side. Do the same. Make a notch and trim the shape out with the previous curve that you have made. The previous cut that you made. Then arrange it properly, making sure that the notch is centralized and they align correctly. Then make a notch at the bottom. Ensure that the shapes are the same. After then, I cut out the stopper. We have the stopper. The stopper, we have two pieces of those. We have 4 inches by 3 inches. 4 inches by 3 inches. We have 2 of those. You set it aside. Set that aside. Then to get the side zip facing, you cut 2 rectangles of the length. You just place your stopper, notch the 2 sides, and place on the notch, the center notch of the body. Then you do it that way to know where the zip facing starts from. So this one I did was 4 inches, but I discovered that it was too long. I had to remove 1 inch. So making 3 inches by 3 inches. The wideness is 3 inches and the length is 3 inches. So I had to trim the second one. Trim it out to make sure they are of equal sizes. Okay, you get the notch, the center notch. Note, the notch is very important. When you are working, it's very important to make sure that your work comes out accurate and neat. So then to get the zip facing, just place your tape at the center notch and roll it round at the circumference of the main bodies. I'm sorry it wasn't showing well here. Put it round, starting from 3 inches after the center notch. So we have 16 inches length for the side zip facing. 16 inches length by 1.5 inches. So you have 2 of those. So this is 16 inches length by 1.5 inches. You fold that into two and make a notch at the middle. Notch is very important. Making notches is very important while working. It makes your work to be very accurate and neat. So we have 1.5 inches by 16 inches. So let's get into it. I get my zip cloth, that's zip. Then we have a webbing, designer webbing, measured 7 inches. Measured 7 inches by 1.5 inches. 7 inches by 1.5 inches. Then I have the tiny designer webbing, the Gucci designer webbing. Can get it anyway. So I have the tiny one that I want to use for the design at the front. For the front design. Okay. This measures, the big one measures 1.5 inches, while the tiny one measures 0.5 inch, or you can also use 1 inch. So I use my lighter to burn the excesses and trim it to make it neat. Those are the things that you have to do to make your work very neat. Then I have this pipe. This pipe for the edges of the purse. The pipe that I use for the edges of the purse. The pipe makes the work to be solid. It makes the shape to come out nicely. So I placed my zip cloth on one piece of the zip facing. Then I start to stitch down. After stitching, I start to stitch. You can see how I set my machine so as to sew it in a straight manner. To do the same. And I cut out the zip cloth, the excess zip cloth. I do that to the other side too. Then I top stitch. I top stitch the material. I did that to the other part too. The other side, zip side facing, measuring 16 inches by 1.5 inches. What we want to do is to make sure that by the time we finish sewing in the zip on the zip facing side, it should be the same width as the stopper. You remember I made the stopper 3 inches by 3 inches. So by the time I sew this zip facing on the stopper, it should be of the same width. It should be of the same width. So I'm top stitching now. Then I top stitch, top stitch. After top stitching the first side, you do the same. Make it overlap a little to relax, make it relax on that zip cloth. And then you top stitch. You top stitch it. Wow, voila. Can see how beautiful this looks. Then we want to put our zip puller which is also called zip head, the zip puller. You fix it, make sure fix one edge of the zip cloth first, then you put in the other one while holding it tight at the bottom. Then you use your finger to push it to the front. You will get it that way. I'm just trying to sew it properly. Again, this is not necessary. I'm only doing this because the first sewing was not strong enough. You didn't hold it properly, so I had to do that again. And that's why that place is a bit of rough. So make sure that you set the machine properly so that the first time you get a sewing to make your work neat, to make your work very neat. I'm repeating the same on the other side. On the other side of the facing, the zip facing. You can see? Okay, here we go. That is ready now. Next, the design at the front. The design at the front, we make use of the tiny cushy strap, the tiny webbing. Okay, I'm closing this now, right now. That's the closure, the stopper. So I sew it on it. Then I cut off the excess thread, trim off the excess, ensure that they are of the same size. I mentioned that earlier. After trimming up, you top stitch, top stitch. After top stitching it, you do the same to the other side too. We are placing the stopper on the zip facing. We're placing the stopper on the zip facing. Ensure that the edges rhyme. Then you trim off the excesses on the side. Then I'm top stitching to make it stand, and you notch the midpoint. Because of the excess that we trimmed, the notch shifted, so you have to fold again and notch the midpoint, the new midpoint. So then we have the bodies, the main body. Put that at the center notch and just place it and sew neatly, sew in neatly. Sew in neatly. And I measured 7 inches, and fold the edge of it inside. I folded it inwards. And sew it like so. And we are placing in the handle now. The handle with the big strap, the big webbing. So I just measured 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches from the top of the main body. So then I sewed it in like so. I sewed it in like that. Sorry, I had to do some adjustments. Okay, after sewing in, we put in our pipe. Okay, the other side you turn it like so and sew it into, measuring 2.5 inches from the edge. 2.5 inches from the edge. I sew it in. Then I get my pipe. See how you fix the pipe. Starting from the center notch by the side, center notch of the main body. You place your pipe and sew in gently round the edges. Round the edges. Sew it around the edges that way. Gently, if you are not careful, the presser foot might shift from the pipe. Just sew it around the edges like so. Around the edges like so. So you watch the corners, ensure that they're rounded at the shape of the main bodies, like the shape of the main body of the bag. Then you get a tiny piece of material to do the closure. Tiny piece of material to close the point at which the two sides of the pipe meets, to close it, to give it a nice finish that way. That way. To give it a nice finish that way. So now we have the side. We want to fix the side. Ensure that the notch matches the notch. So you sew it that way, inwards, all through, ensuring that the notches align. ensuring that the notches align that way. And you sew all through. So if you have learned one thing or the other from this video, kindly subscribe to my channel at Daisy Prince Atelier. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for the love. Thanks for the love. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for the love. I look forward to see more of you. And in order to encourage me to post more videos like this, please kindly press the notification bell so as to get notified once I post new videos. Thank you so much. So we're rounding up the finishing of the purse. Let's see how it looks. You set that in properly. Set it in properly. You sew all through. So it's taking much of time. You have to do it carefully. You sew that in. Make sure that place curves in. And you trim off the excesses. Let's do the other side too. Do the same for the other side, ensuring that the notches align properly. The notch on the main body of the bag and that on the side zip facing, then the closure, the stopper. So once you do that, your bag, your work is going to be very neat. It's going to be very neat and professional. So you trim off the excesses. Oh, we've still got a part here that is yet to be sewn in. Okay, let's do that quickly. Do that quickly. Just trying to sew in properly. Okay. Voila. Let's see. You trim off the excesses. Then you can burn the excess threads. The excess thread to make it neat. To make it very neat. Trim out the excesses. So, do the finishing properly. Cut out all the excesses, the excess threads and the materials. After cutting out, we're going to turn it. You turn it. So I burnt the excess threads and I turn it in. Turn it out. Turn it out. Let's see how it looks. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks so much. Once again, subscribe to my channel to get and turn on the notification bell to get notified once I post new videos. Thank you for your time. And let's see how it looks.